speaking of that, because of the good news, is it easy to move on to football and focus on football now?
I mean, I don't know if it's a turn the page that quick, obviously. Yeah, great news though. I mean, obviously, just hearing that he's been writing. I mean, I saw this morning that he was responsive, and yeah, gripping hands, and obviously now taking the step of writing. I'm as happy as can be. Obviously, I mean, I think as everybody saw Monday night, right, and the world went into a shock, right, and just now a couple of days later, as we just said, prayer is powerful. God is great. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Just talk about how that puts things into perspective, the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely puts things in perspective. When you see that moment happen, you realize that this game of football is a lot of people, they're putting their lives on the line. I mean, as we said, it's always been a cliche for the most part, and then you realize how realistic that is. Now, not that guys playing this don't know that, but you want to, in a sense, be naive to it. And when you see something like that, you realize how close you are, and it's a matter of unfortunate, obviously, and yeah, it's scary. It is. But I know these guys in this league are very fearful. They're fighters. Obviously, you can see right there with DeMar, fighter. I mean, showing it, resilient, and just blessed to be, honestly, playing this game. And I think when you see something like that, you just got to be thankful for each day and each step that you have, and take advantage of every opportunity that you get, not only in the game of football, but in life and in your relationships. And yeah, I'm just happy for all the good news right now. Yeah.
This is like light years ago, but I was wondering, from your point of view, what did Cooper Rush do so well during those 5 games to kind of keep this ship sailing?
Ooh, I got to go back in some time, right? As a quarterback, you got to keep moving on. You know what I mean? But Coop, I mean, as I told y'all when he was going in, I mean, I had all the confidence in the world. I mean, it's a guy that's been here since my second year. I've watched him grow, and I've watched the player that he's become. He's my go-to guy when it comes to anything that I need help on. Yeah, I mean, it would be hard to say I was impressed because that's what I expected from Coop. Him to go out there, to do his best, to perform, put this team in a great position, and to do what he did. We wouldn't be in the position that we are right now if it wasn't for that. So, yeah.
I posed the question to Zach, and I'll pose it to you as well, Dak. Regardless of the outcome of Week 18 against the Commanders, you guys are going to finish this season having not suffered a 2-game losing streak. And considering that amount of adversity that you guys have had to overcome, what does that say about the level of resiliency this team has had this season?
Yeah, I mean, that's been our mantra, is resilient. And when something happens, we're just talking about it, right? You get knocked down, but you can stand back up. And that's what resiliency is, and that's us. We got knocked down a couple of times. We got right back up and went and put a performance on the next week, sometimes the best, and then sometimes enough to get the job done. But regardless, at the end of the day, this team's going to fight. And I think it starts at the beginning of the year, obviously. When I got hurt, Coop came in and stepped in, and just be able to switch running backs out, rotate offensive linemen. Important guys on defense miss time and time again at different times, and guys come in and substitute and do their job. I think that's just the epitome when you see a team that's speaking about resilience, is the things that we've been through this year and have been able to overcome.
How much credit does, obviously the players deserve credit for that, but for Coach McCarthy to...
Hell yeah, I mean, they deserve not only McCarthy, the OCs, the position coaches, everybody in this organization. I mean, the personnel department for getting the right guys in and the right people in that are bought in, but also believe in themselves and understand that the next man up cliche is very real, and I've got to be preparing myself and staying focused for that opportunity, and those guys have. And yeah, and impressed in that sense from everybody that's had to step up, and the coaches that have had to make sure they've got the young guys ready, and the young guys for being fearless and going in whatever role they've had and accepting it and doing their job.
Going into Week 18, is the focus division title or just playing well? I mean,
I mean, we've got to win. The focus first and foremost is win, play well, yes, and build momentum. And if we win the division title, that's not necessarily up to us at this point. We've just got to go win and take care of our business. But yeah, that would be great. I mean, you don't play the game checking up every quarter to see what that other score is. You've got to play and, as I always say, be where your feet are, and being focused and just making sure that we're, as I've said, stacking good things and clean up things from last week and be better this week to make sure that we're hitting this thing full stride.
So nobody's gonna have a phone on the sideline, checking scores.
That's against NFL policies.
Okay. we never break that.
Last week the Titans did a good job stopping your guys' run game, and give them credit. They did a good job. But where do you feel like this run game is today, and how do you guys? What strides need to be taken for it to be going into the playoffs the way you guys want to?
Yeah, we just got to go be productive. I mean, as you just said, those guys did a good job, and I told you after the game, give those guys some credit. I mean, whether some of their guys were out or not, they're one of the best at stopping the run in the league. Go look at the stats, and and so I mean, for us, it's just about getting back to who we are. And obviously, it starts up front, whether it's the run game, pass game, or whatever. But just those guys being physical as they are, and just going and being productive, letting our runners get into some space, and make big plays. And there's no doubt that that's what we'll do this week and continue to do as we move forward.
You've taken some good offenses into the offseason, into the postseason before. Is this group as diverse as any offense you've had, as being able to attack different ways, or is that too much of a stretch?
I wouldn't say it's a stretch at all. And more importantly, as good as those offenses have been, I don't know if their tightness and culture and brotherhood was even close to what we have right now. And those were good cultures, and those were good teams and guys that trusted each other. But the combination of veteran, young guys who have had great experience, it's special. It's special. And so, I mean, just being able to lean on different parts of our game, nothing like it. And not only that, I mean, just having the defense that we have. I mean, obviously, we have the turnovers have been rough, and just to obviously have a defense that can pick you up and put you back in the spot that you were after that is awesome. Not only that, the guys on offense to turn the page as soon as one of those things happen and move forward. I think that might show the biggest difference in the past years is being able to turn the page, and I guess resilient if you want to, and knowing that the next play is all that matters.
Would it mean something to not turn the ball over at all in this last game, especially?
It should mean something every game. What you mean? Hell yeah. I mean, psychologically, I mean, when it comes to that, I do turn the page fast. But I don't know necessarily. I mean, yeah, sure. It'd be great to not have a turnover. It'd be awesome. Whether whoever fault it is, my fault, tip pass, unfortunate, it doesn't matter. They all are the same. But it'd be great to not have one. So I just really like not to talk about them, and that's the best way that I can put it. Do it psychologically is, yeah. All negative thinking is out. Yeah, I mean, it was important. I mean, and one just for him. I mean, honestly, for him, just to let it go. And honestly, I didn't even approach Peyton. Peyton came up to me, it's my fault. Hey, let it go. Like I know I don't. Not that I don't necessarily need, you know what I'm saying, hey, come on, like whatever, but I want you to get rid of it. And I don't want you to think that I'm thinking about it, because I'm not, right? I know you make that play 99% of the time. It didn't happen that time. We're not going to sit here and dwell on it. I'm just saying negative thinking, right? Get out your head, move forward. I know you're going to make the next one, and if you know that, we're good to go.
Dak, this is the first time in your career that y'all will be going to the playoffs back-to-back seasons. How can you use the freshness of the emotion from last year in a way that maybe you kind of hated?
Every which way. And I mean, we talked about resiliency, and that was led into this season because of the end of last season. And as I said before, we're not going to hide our scars and not be proud of the pain in the sense that we went through, because that's what's made us who we are today. And we're going to take a lot from just the way that we obviously ended the season and the way that we approach the playoffs. But right now, it's all the Commanders.
Sorry.
You're fine. No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
I just sat down with Zeke. This will make you feel better about me interrupting you. I just sat down with Zeke and I asked him, who was his favorite player that he's ever had the chance to play with, and he, with no hesitation, said you. Can you just talk a little bit about y'all's relationship, how special that is, and when you hear that, what that kind of means to you?
Yeah, that's heartwarming. He's a little brother to me. 7 years. This is year 7. Coming in together, obviously, him being drafted first, me fourth round, not expecting to necessarily play from the jump, but even when I was a backup still, we're very, very close. I had a car in town, he didn't, so it just kind of happened naturally. Just, just becoming best friends. And, 7 years deep. The friendship's amazing, but also the player that he is on the field is very, very special. And I don't know if I've ever been around a guy or honestly anybody that can have the fun, but the moment that it's time to get serious, lock in, and you know that he's as focused, as smart of a player, as instinctual as a player as I've been around. And, it's been fun to go on this journey with him.
Can you talk about you said the brotherhood is really close. Speaking about Zeke, he said Pollard's had more yards this year, Pro Bowl and all that. It seems like he's still his biggest fan. Zeke is his biggest fan. Can you just speak of that relationship?
Yeah, honestly, when you talk about brotherhood and culture, I mean, Zeke, as much as anybody in that locker room should get the credit. And honestly, for, like I just said, being able to be light and have fun, but at the same time, lock in. I mean, if you want to see a guy, as I just said, that does it better than anyone, that's him. So for young guys to see that is you can have fun when you come in these locker rooms and you play this game, but it's also very important when it's time to get serious, time to study, time to make sure that you're on your P's and Q's, that you do that. And that's Zeke for you. So, I mean, he is a huge part of the temperature of that locker room, and keeps everything light, pregame, postgame, but everything in between that clock is serious. And just look at him if you're wondering.
When Kellen was talking about your and TY's chemistry, he said something about how y'all have been able to get the decision routes pretty quickly. I guess on the routes that he's got the options, what's the key to picking that up so quickly when y'all haven't had months to prepare together?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. That's credit to TY. He's easy to read, his body language. The guy understands on those option routes what he needs to do versus the coverage, and that's him seeing it. And then his body language tells me, and he's just been consistent from day one at that. And when you have that, it's a beauty for me to just be able to have that option of him running the options and knowing that we're on the same page. And it's really, really, really hard to stop as long as the quarterback and receiver are on the same page. So.
You know how come and go this league is with players in and out all the time. When did you realize that 7 years with one guy isn't the norm? Like it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Realistically, I'd probably say my 5th year, and I just say that as once your class hits time to restructure, and you realize how many people in your class don't get that opportunity. And then in the 5th year, you realize that it's the same way for that class after. And then you say, well, that's almost the life expectancy of being on a team unless, you know what I mean, you're doing what you need to do, taking care of your business, being a leader. And so I'd say about year 5. And then just not only that, for 7 years and to be as productive as he is, I mean, is as incredible as it gets.
How much of him playing through the way he's played through is sort of part of that formula that you're talking about?
There you go, right there. like that grout fit.
How much of him playing through stuff is part of everything that you're talking about?
They lost. I mean, that's who he is. I mean, honestly, that's a guy that is going to give his all and never wants to let a teammate down, honestly. And that's really all I can think about when I think about Zeke. I mean, the best, I call him a brother, a little brother, and that's because he's a brother to everybody in there. And that's what he is, bigger, younger, however it is. He wants to do whatever he can to help those guys. And whether it be TP's biggest cheerleader, or whether it be lead blocking for TP, or receiver on a reverse, or blocking a D lineman for me for that half extra second, or trying to pick up 2 guys, or 4th and 1, handing it to him in a cloud of dust, and he knows he's trying to go get it. If they asked him to play defense and rush the passer, I guarantee he wouldn't hesitate. And I just think that's who he is. He'll do whatever's asked for his brothers.
Going back-to-back postseason now, how different does that feel as far as a shared motivation if more guys can
huge.
pull in on, because you have 28% turnover, and so you're going more than half the team.
Yeah, no, that's huge, honestly, and that's the biggest point when you talk about not hiding your scars and using your pain as your motivation or your purpose, or however you want to say it, is that there's majority of these guys were here last year and felt that, and felt how close we thought we were, but then realized the things that we didn't take care of, and to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations and grow from that. And then not only that, I mean, just to have all the coaches intact. I mean, that's as big as anything as well. I mean, you're talking about culture, you're talking about trust and belief, and I mean, I don't know if I've had that much consistency one year to another in my 7 years. And I think that speaks on not only, obviously, the success we've had this year, but the way that we're going to handle the postseason. Awesome. Thank you.